Happy Saturday. Sorry we're a couple minutes late. We have to laugh because if you had any idea what goes on behind the scenes to get this to work.
Yes, filming these took a little bit longer because, like I said, we're having to do them in the gym or whatever. Then you have to download them, then you have to upload them here, and it's 4 or 5 different steps or whatever. So it takes a little time, and it's how the computer's, how fast it's working, how fast it's downloading, and we cut it close.
Yeah,
so,
a little close. And then sometimes
I did all these exercises this morning after my faster run. All together, we didn't have time to, so they're not exactly perfect, but you will get the idea.
Yeah, you will. And sometimes then as you add in conversations that'll happen between my better half and I, you can understand where things are going. So
yeah.
Anyway, no, it's all good. We're just a couple minutes late here, but it's all good. So we are going to kick it off. And hopefully you guys are having a great start to your weekend. As always, we want to try to keep this one short. This one's going to be a little bit longer because we got a lot of videos, demos we want to show you. And as Patty mentioned, we're at the gym, and so a lot of things we're going back and forth here. So it's all good though.
But key stuff.
This is important stuff because if you don't have a strong core,
it really affects everything.
Yeah,
it's lower back pain. Most of it is caused because of this.
Yeah,
and I've been saying it this week or whatever, but that is, I always did that when I ran and did all those marathons, did all that stuff. Just thought that having my back hurting after I got done running was just how it was supposed to be. Literally did not realize that it was because of this. It was because my lack of strength training back then. When I did not prioritize it. That was a long time ago. And I realized that now, by doing the strength training, by focusing on that, by doing all the other things that I need to do, you should not have pain with running. Pain and running are not associated together. Running does not cause pain. Muscle dysfunction, not having strong enough muscle core is your big thing. We think about our six-pack. Six-pack means nothing.
Looks nice.
When it comes to, it's only aesthetics. When it comes to your functional strength, you can actually have a six-pack abs and still be weak there. So it's not the telltale sign.
Yeah, so I just had to stop the screen share for a second because I noticed there was a bit of an error. So it turns out we may have 1 or 2 videos that may not play. Fingers crossed it works when it just kind of takes time to render. Because again, we got this done at the last minute.
Loading this,
so we'll give this a shot here, and if not, we'll upload them separately to show you guys what this is all about. So again, today we're going to talk about keys to core strength. Yeah, we're getting an error message here, so it is what it is. Don't know what happened here, but we're doing this such last minute that not much we can do about that. Okay. So anyway, as we always say each week, this is not medical advice. Please do your own research. We're sharing with you guys stuff that we research and want to share with you guys because we want to be strong and healthy. We want you to be strong and healthy. So that's just a little phrase for you guys to keep in mind.
Mm-hmm. All right. Like I said, it's not about looks.
It's really not about looks. We all, from a guy's perspective, yeah, we want to have abs that look like this, but if you can't, if it's not really strong, it means absolutely nothing. So that's the point of today.
It's the underneath. It's those deep core muscles that we really need to focus on.
Yeah. So recap of last week real quick. We talked about overtraining. I have a typo there. It's because we were literally doing this so fast in the last minute. So apologize for that.
She gets mad at me for that. Longevity.
Having a long-term view, enjoying the journey versus the goal. Obviously, there's some mental breaks we all need some variety, whether it's a short run, longer, just try to get in the car and drive to a different location. We're here in Florida. We've gone to the beach a couple of times and it's been amazing. So that's been a nice change.
Really is. A variety is the key, especially with if you're running a lot, running multiple days and that stuff. It's always, you mix up your paces, you mix up the routes, you mix up those type of things, and it really can help extend your running.
Yeah. And then again, the biggest one and by far is don't compare yourself to others or when you were all younger. What's funny about that is this morning we were at the gym. I'm going to be in a couple of these videos that hopefully will show up. And as you're watching yourself, you realize, well, I'm not as young as I used to be. So
absolutely.
You forget that. You're like, whoa.
The camera does not lie.
The camera does not lie, as painful as it is. But yes, it is what it is.
Gravity's not a friend. But, hey, like I said, we're in our 50s. We're not in our 20s. And A lot of us didn't appreciate it. I didn't appreciate it, what I had in my 20s.
It's human nature. Yeah,
so I'm trying to appreciate what I have in my 50s.
Yeah, that's exactly. So today we'll talk about the keys to core strength. Again, what is it? Why it's important. So especially as we get older, it's so important, right?
Critical. It's really critical to your autonomy later on in life. It really is.
It really is. And as you're just out, I encourage you guys the rest of the weekend, just as you're out in society, grocery store, wherever, you'll notice it really easily. And if it, it could be yourself as well. This is why we're talking about this, to remind you, to nudge you a little bit, to focus on this.
You have that functional strength to be able to pick up those groceries, to be able to put them in your car, to be able to take them in the house, be able to do all these things on your own.
Yeah. And so, as we've said many times, her dad passed away just over a year ago now. It's just last week, it was a year ago. And he was in his 90s, still exercising. And that was an inspiration to us. And this complex that we're staying at here have people in their 70s, 80s, and even a couple in their 90s, and they're still at the gym. So they're an inspiration to us. And so
it can be done if you start building it now.
Yeah, you have to do it now. And then again, we'll talk about some exercises to strengthen things. Hopefully some of these, apparently 2 of them are not going to work. So we'll find out here.
Okay. So the rectus abdominis is the ones that you see. Those are the ones that are like the aesthetic ones that are like, yeah, look great, but don't do anything. Your transverse abdominis, your diaphragm, your pelvic floor, and your multifidus are the ones that are, the last 2 are, those other ones are kind of small. Your transverse abdominis is the one that wraps around you. That's your kind of like your corset muscles. And it's literally attaches your spine to your pelvis to your ribs. So that it goes all the way around your waist. And that is the big muscle that we really need to, it's underneath everything. And that's what needs to absolutely be able to hold you upright, balance, do all these things. It supports your whole entire body, all the organs in between. The smaller muscles give you that kind of the dynamic flexibility with it. But running, keeping you upright, the reason why your back hurts after 4, 5, 6, 7 miles is because you still have to be upright. And if you don't have a strong transverse abdominis, that muscle that is attached to your spine, holding you up, your form starts to collapse. When those muscles are 250, they don't have the endurance to pull that. It needs other muscles, so it uses those big erector spinal muscles in in your back muscles to keep you up. But that's not their job, So anytime you have dysfunction, anytime you have pain, anytime you have that, it's muscles doing what they're not supposed to be doing. But your body will still, you'll still be able to run. You'll still be able to do everything. You'll still be able to do all this stuff that you can do if you're strong enough. And that's everything.
Yeah, no, I just want to make sure we're good. We're all good. Sorry.
Okay, cool. So, so what do you need to look for? Lower back pain is the number one thing that you're going to experience. And that's what I've been saying all week. If you get done running, you bend down and you feel like, oh, dear God, I'm going to break. Or if I try to get back in my car, I would drive 20 minutes to go run, not warm up, run whatever distance, barely be able to get back in my car, and then drive home.
Yeah, and we both did that. We're guilty of that. When we were in Orlando, we would drive this nice park to the house, and both of us would get out in Denver. In Denver. And then even here, when we first got to Florida,
I started it.
You started that, right? I didn't do that, right? My point is that we were guilty
when
you
were in Denver, the Highline Canal, I never even thought about it. It was not even on my radar. But you should be able to stand in line if you're waiting in line. You should be able to do that for 20 minutes, be able to stand straight without having to kind of fidget around. Those are huge things, but your balance. That's why doing one-legged exercises, it works on your balance, but it shows you if you are super wobbly, that transverse abdominis is what stabilizes you, keeps you upright. So if you're having trouble with that, if that's too weak, it's not going to be able to stabilize you. So then your feet are going to have to do more of the stabilizing, and that plantar fascia is really small. All it's supposed to do is support the arch of your foot. When you ask it to do more than that, you get plantar fasciitis. If you continue to ask it to do more than that, you're going to have plantar fasciitis for a long time. It takes a lot to get that to calm down because you really have to strengthen everything around it. It's never the spot. It's never your back. It's never your knee. It's never your feet. It's the kinetic chain above and below. So
yeah, exactly. So and the other key one is like holding your breath during exercises when you're doing some of these things that we're going to show you. That's the stuff that it's going to be very, very key for you to notice that, right?
And I'm sure you've had cues in certain, whether you've worked with a trainer or whether you've been in yoga classes or something like that. They're always breathe through the exercise, breathe through the exercise. That's a big part because the diaphragm is part of those deep muscles or whatever. If you're collapsing or whatever, that's not allowing you to get the breath you need. And when running, we know when that happens, oxygen is what gives us energy. We're going to get fatigued faster. It's just how it works. So
right. And your hip instability, this is where we're all guilty of this, right? As we get older, because we're sitting so much, I mean, I'm guilty of this, hitting so much, that's a sign that your core is weak in certain spots, sometimes weaker, right? So that's
when you run, your hips should be relatively stable. But some people, like I said, when they videotape them, they have significant hip drops when they run. That will create all kinds of problems, issues when you run, pain. Like I said, dysfunction over time leads to pain if we don't correct these things.
Right. And then we're going to show you guys a test here. This is called the Sarman core stability test. That is hard. It is really hard to do if you've never done this.
I mean, it's not. It has different levels.
Different levels,
if you've been to a PT about this is probably something. Sometimes they do the dead bug. Have you do that, hold that for a couple of minutes. There's different tests, but this is a pretty common one. The movement specialist that came up with this. It has 5 levels. So you progress to the next one, and the 5th one is the hardest one.
Yeah.
But anybody who is running right now, any of you guys, anyone who's watching this is a runner, but anyone that's listening to my lives, anyone who is a runner, you should be able to hold plank for 2 minutes relatively easily. It is not that does not take, that's not even the kind of strength that you need for those deep things. But if you can't functionally do that, then you got a lot to work on. But 2 minutes of plank, just regular ones, I don't like to do because they are too easy. That you should have more functional strength than that. So that's a benchmark of where you should start out.
Right. And again, these are just signs. So if you can't do these, that's okay. Not the end of the world. Just what you need to work on. And that's why we started this year saying we got to get to the gym and work on additional strength because we're getting older. We're just it's the reality.
We focused on that this year. I really focused on heavy weights, functional strength. Didn't follow my advice when it came to my strength training. Unfortunately, was doing too much in the yard. My shoulder bicep tendon is still almost better, but there's still certain things that I actually can't do. So it's frustrating, but keep working through it. I still have to strength train everything I can, and gonna probably take to the next step and see somebody about that. But,
right, and that's the step that you need to take at that point. Do as much as you can. The reason we do these lives, the reason we have this group is to hold all of us accountable so we stay focused on that area. Some of you guys need a little bit more help than others. That's okay. We're here to help in that regards, but the whole point of these is to make you guys aware of the stuff reminders, right? Because we all need it, ourselves included. So the best core exercise that we're going to demonstrate here, hopefully which one of the videos are going to show up. And the key one is if you only have time, we said in the emails, if you're short on time, we all are busy. We're all super busy. If you only have 1 minute, I mean, come on, we all have 1 minute. We all have 5, 10, 15 minutes a day, right? We could do this, but a hollow hold is the one, and we'll show you that one. If that's the only time you can do, then do that. If you've got a Bosu ball, we'll show you that. Now, if you don't have access to it, that's okay. There are variations to that.
We should have all.
These should all work, but we'll stop. We just don't know. We just got an error message.
Yeah.
Yeah, plank shoulder taps, that's easy to do. You can do that at home.
These are plank variations. Plank, regular plank is too easy. It should be too easy for you. So doing these other ones are part of that. And bird dog crunches are that's a great exercise for our glutes, for stability, and for the transverse abdominis.
Yeah, so let's see which ones work here. So the salmon core, this one's going to work here fine.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so this is the core stability test.
There's 5 parts to it.
All right, so this is level 1. This is level 2. It goes out and back. And then you go back up to about 100 degrees of hip flexion. This is going to be level 3. You go out. You keep your
one leg off the ground.
Yep. About 5-6 inches.
Now you do both legs down
with your heels touching. That's 4, and then back up to that 100-degree hip flexion. And then the last one is level 5. That is
the challenging one. Yeah.
That's the one going out and down and back. I was losing my socks there.
Yeah, right. But the key
the key is why I have my hand underneath my back is you have to keep your back and your spine tucked to the
flat,
floor.
right?
So.
And that's why she was doing that, to try to hold herself accountable. She's doing this. But that last one, as she pointed out there, because your legs are off the ground, that is hard. If you cannot do any of these, then you know you have a weaker core. You need to work on these things. This is the test.
Yeah, you would go backwards. If you can get to where you can do one leg out, but you can't do that, keep doing the one leg out. Do more of those.
Show that again, just to be clear.
It's basically those would be kind of like leg lifts. If you start with it on the ground, then start with a single leg going out. That'll help to build that strength. But have something, either your hand underneath you, or you can put something underneath you that you would feel when you start to lift off. The key of doing this is feeling that it's kind of that bracing technique. That bracing maneuver is a great thing. And all that means is you are going to pull, like push your belly button, try to push it to your spine as if someone was going to punch you in the stomach. So if you think about what you would need if someone's going to punch you, it's that
type of tautness in your stomach
all around. And that's what's going to allow you to keep your back from arching. If your back is starting to arch, since that transverse abdominis is attached to your lower 6 ribs, your rib cage is expanding. So you don't have enough strength in the transverse, the TA to keep that pulled down. So that's a sign. If you start arching your back at any of these levels, that's where you would start to try to strengthen that to get it so it can keep that rib cage pulled down.
Yeah. So that's your core test here. So now we've already shown that one now. Yeah. So let's go to the next slide. Okay. So this is the one, unfortunately. Oh, you gotta be kidding. This is the one that we wanted to show. This is the one that's not going to work. So this is the hollow hold. Basically, you're like a V if you think about it this way. We'll
go to the next ones and then we'll see if it'll render it again.
Yeah, and if not, I'll post it in the comments below. Mm-hmm. This is on the Facebook group and also on the YouTube channel. I'll do that separately so you can see that.
And the key with this one, it works all of this.
Yeah, exactly.
The TA, your obliques, but it also will work your quads. I turn my hands in a little bit like that engages your lats. But after your run, if you had 1 minute to try to do that, it's harder than it looks. So you might have to start out seconds, then 30 seconds, and then 45 seconds. Get to where you have. If you can do that for a minute, then you've got good core strength.
Yeah, exactly. So then this one, if you've got a BOSA ball, this is a great one to do as well. All you're doing is just a plank. But you're stabilizing because that ball is going to move.
Yeah. So I think regular planks are a little too easy. So doing it on a different surface. And then we have a couple other variations of it that just make it harder, make it so you're having to stabilize. Anytime you have to stabilize, that works those deep core muscles.
Yeah, exactly. So the next one is going to be, this one's going to work, the plank shoulder taps.
And that was part of when we went over the anti-rotation. It's like your body wants to go to the sides or whatever. So you have to hold that to keep yourself from going. There's a little bit of swaying just because you're going to different sides, but it's keeping that taunt. It's keeping that bracing maneuver, and being able to do that is what's going to allow you to work that area, work those deep core muscles and whatever, which is going to translate into better running, easier running, and getting rid of that lower back pain. Right. This is just plank, knee to elbow. It's another one of the stability type. Works the deep core. You're having to fight against the motion of trying to move, trying to sway, keeping your body stable. So any stabilizing thing that you do like that is going to, like I said, work those deep core muscles.
Right. So that's another good one. Again, this is the exercises now to strengthen things. So then we've got the bird dog crunches here.
This is another great one because it's a great glute.
Great exercise. For the glutes. Yeah.
It's good for balance. Anything that works our balance is going to be working our deeper core muscles. So it is, these are all things that we want to be incorporating in our routine. We're giving you a bunch of different ones. If you find ones that are super easy, don't do those ones. You need to do the ones that are like, oh, that's really hard. I don't want to do that one.
As much as you don't want to do them because you won't.
Those are the ones that you want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's another one there.
So then these are, again, the to add additional strength, right? Because those are ones right there. Now this is additional ones here. These are.
So now these are single leg Romanian deadlifts. These are all functional movements that you should be doing as part of your strength training. You should be doing deadlifts, you should be doing squats, and you should be doing, lunges, these type of movements. Anytime you do it a single leg, then that allows you
so much harder
too. Yeah. The key with doing this is, for the stability part, is having it in the opposite hand, and not opening up your hip to go backwards. Keeping your hips level.
Right. Watch her here. Hips are level there. Nice and slow movement. The key there is all about the control.
Yeah. Now I could get my leg higher, but to get my leg higher, I would have to actually turn out. That's not the point of it. It's keeping the stability in your spine, keeping the stability in your hip. That's, like I said, that's what's working that transverse abdominis that attaches to all your hips, your spine, and your ribs. That's what keeps it having to strengthen it. So you should be doing deadlifts anyways. Do the higher weight, on both legs. You can superset these with doing a strength one. This would be a balance one. So great things that you should be doing anyways. It works with hip mobility, balance. All of these things are to easily incorporate it into something that you're probably or should be already doing.
Single leg glute bridge. Again, this is great for the glutes.
Yeah, most of you just doing a regular glute bridge, it's not going to be enough to
strengthen that core and your glutes.
You should be stronger than that. So anytime we want to add, progress something, we do it single leg. We do it on a unstable surface. You can always adjust things. You don't always need weight to make it harder. You make it harder by doing it single leg, and glute bridge is definitely a single leg glute bridge. You'll feel that. Absolutely.
You 100% are going to feel that. Yeah. Okay, the Swiss ball push up. I get into the act a little bit here. Any kind of ball.
Not happening.
Right. Now this is also, it's all about safety here. Just make sure you can do this under control, right? So you can see I'm wobbling there, but it's really about trying to control that ball and to keep it straight. So you got to have your hands sideways there.
This is kind of an advanced thing. You can try it on a Boju ball. Would probably be easier to
start out. Absolutely. Yeah.
But this will absolutely strengthen. A, it's good for doing push-ups, but B, strengthen
your core. And I could feel that in my core as I was doing that one for sure.
It takes a lot of effort to stabilize, to keep you on that ball. So that's a great, if you can do it safely, that's a great one. Rows are a great one. When you do the bear crawl one, you just have.
It doesn't matter the weight. Like she's got a light weight there, right? But the point is about the form there. Her back is perfectly straight.
It's the stability of the actual.
because but by keeping your back straight on top up there, that is the key thing, is stabilizing your core. That's the critical part to that.
You've probably seen the bear crawl going forward. This is just a thing where you can add weights, work your back, and work your core at the same time. It's doing multifunctional type exercises is going to give you the best bang for your buck, because we're going to work several areas.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Save time. We're all
Looks
about
like the next one's not going to work here. Oh, it did work. It finally came in. All right. So the dumbbell overhead squat here. Now this is, again, a lot harder than you think. Put it this way.
It's one of those things. Everyone can probably do a body weight squat. That's pretty easy. You know, you always think you have to add weight to it. Just do a body weight squat with no weights, with your hands above your head straight, and see that makes it harder. You're gonna have to add small weight at first. Eventually, if you had a bar to lift heavier weights, but that's a progression that you can do that doesn't take a lot of weight. It's just something that you can do pretty easily. That'll just make it harder.
Right. Exactly.
And then of course you can do that on one leg. You know, you would do that. You would go down as far as you can and come back up. Those are single leg, or you add another variant of having your arms up, or you add more weight. So there's always ways that you can progress exercises.
Yeah, and you can see there, I have small dumbbells there. I was doing that more for form here, because if I went to like 20 pounds, there's no way I could do it. Yeah. Now with a bar, I could, but now with the single dumbbells, it's a lot harder than you realize. Yeah. The point is getting as low as you can there, and that was what I was trying to show.
And having good form.
There's
no point of having a heavier weight if your form is terrible.
Correct. Exactly. So that was the key part to doing that. So anyway, we wanted to walk through these today, because this, again, is why we do all these each week. And I'm going to go back and see if that one is rendered now, because that's the best one, actually. It is. There we go. I'm going to re-share the slide here. This is the secret one that we talked about earlier that was not showing earlier, and now it is there. It took a little bit of time for it to kind of render.
So what I said, the best thing to do, you can do.
Oh, no, I guess not. All right, never mind.
Well, you can do core work every single day. It is one of those things. The best time to do it is after your run, or after you're already fatigued. That way you're teaching your those muscles to work under when they're fatigued. That builds not only strength, but it builds endurance. Remember, as runners, we need to be strong enough, and we need to have enough endurance to do this. So these are things that absolutely have to be part of it. If you're having issues, like I said, having a weak core can cause definitely lower back pain. It can cause hip issues. It can cause knee stuff. It can cause plantar fasciitis. There's so many things that this can do. Plus, as we age, we want autonomy. We want to be able to live on our own when we're 80 and 90 and not need help. That this is such a key part of it. Cardio is great, but you got to be strong enough to be able to do your cardio.
Yeah, and that's why this year we have focused on it, and it's now a critical part to our daily living. Not only are we going to keep running, we have to strength train. We have to strength train so we can keep running, and we want that for you guys as well, right? Yeah. So the point of this is to hold ourselves accountable, hold you guys accountable, and hopefully give you some motivation to doing all of that. So a little bit longer today. Again, we started a little bit late because of the behind the scenes insanity that was going on, like literally to the last minute. That's one.
And I know the number one exercise, but literally, if you only have a minute, do your hold for a minute. If you haven't done it before, you might not be able to hold it for a minute at first, but that's also another good test. If you can do that for a minute, you've got good core strength. Once you can do it for a minute, then do 3 sets of those, for 1 minute. That will give you not only that functional deep core strength, but that will help you with your push-ups. That will help you with your pull-ups. That will help you with all those big compound movements that exercises that we're doing. You need that as your foundation. So one of those things, you just got to do it. Doesn't take a long time, 5 minutes a day. You'd be shocked at how much strength you can build.
Doesn't take that much time to make some major changes. It's the small changes, as one of my mentors said to me. It's a lot of times it's small hinges that open big doors, and things like this are examples of those small hinges. And again, the key is, of course, staying consistent. We're all human as well, so this is why we do these, to kind of keep us pushing forward as well.
I know we say it all the time, but you know, you need to hear it all the time, because it's easy just to go out and run, because that's what we love to do. We just want to run. But you can probably get away with that when you're younger. None of us are that young
anymore. Sadly, it's just reality.
You know, but now we're older and wiser, and we do things smarter. So this is what we're doing to you know, make sure, like I said, the things that we're doing to keep ourselves healthy, to keep ourselves strong, to keep us living that healthy lifestyle.
Exactly. So, all right, guys, have
Saturday, everyone.
Great Saturday. Thank you much. Thank you, everybody, for joining us and watching the replay as well. And I'll upload that. Make sure that video, that hollow hold, gets put in the comments, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
All right. See you guys.
Bye now. Have a great day.